Welcome, everybody, to day 3 at Radio Row. We got a very, 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 very special guest. We have Armando Salguero, Outkick NFL reporter. Armando, thank you so much for jumping on with the Compas.
Oh, man, it's like I'm home.
Exactly.
Los Compa.
Exactly.
I mean, come on. Absolutely. My pleasure, gentlemen.
Armando, you feel like you're at home in Las Vegas? A little weird being out here for a Super Bowl? Did you ever see the day coming?
No, it's interesting. You walk in the media, center here and Radio Row, and they got slot machines over there, bro. I remember.
And wings.
Really?
Yeah.
That would be good. No, but it's like they got slot machines. I remember, I'm old, okay? I'm way older than you guys. I remember when they would have signs on the locker rooms and in the locker rooms all over the NFL where you must not gamble, you will not gamble, we will take your children if you gamble. And here we are, and it's in Las Vegas, which is one of the gambling capitals of the world, and we got slot machines right here on Media Row.
You gotta love it. Armando, talk a little bit about the show that you have now with Outkick with Donovan McNabb, just a little bit about that.
Yeah, he needed some star power, so he brought me on. No, come on now. Donovan's a great guy. He played for the Philadelphia Eagles for a long time and then the Minnesota Vikings there for a cup of coffee one year. Also the Washington, when they were called the Redskins. And just a good man. He played in the Super Bowl for Andy Reid, so he has a lot of insights as to what Andy Reid is doing this week. And he's a big fan of Big Red. So it's been an interesting week here in Las Vegas listening to Donovan McNabb talk about Super Bowl and Andy Reid.
I think it's kind of hard to not find somebody who's a fan of Big Red. I think there's a lot of people who love Andy Reid.
Some imposters out here, too, walking around. Fake Andy Reids.
Have you seen the fake Andy Reids?
Yeah. It's like, dude, I got to get on the treadmill. Otherwise, I might be doing a fake Andy Reid pretty soon. I've seen them. And Andy Reid, think about this, guys. Bill Belichick is not in the league now. So he's the best head coach now, without question. The winningest active head coach. Is he the best in the league? That's a question that needs to be asked because I don't think he's going anywhere. He's got, arguably the best quarterback in the league. He's building a dynasty. And absolutely, when you've got arguably the best coach, arguably the best quarterback, and he's not retiring, there's things happening.
And going off of that, Armando, if Andy wins a third Super Bowl, that's elite company. Bill Belichick, Chuck Noll, Joe Gibbs. I think I'm blanking on a couple more, but a lot of star power. If he does Bill Walsh, there you go, 4 Super Bowls.
Yep.
If he gets to that third, I guess, what does that do for his legacy?
I think his legacy is pretty much, he's already in that group. I think that anyone who is top 5 wins all time is in that group. I mean, George Halas never won a Super Bowl, but come on now. Vince Lombardi, obviously didn't get a chance to go for multiple Super Bowls, although he won multiple championships. And so he's in that group. I want to see him continue because it's not like I don't like the New England Patriot dynasty narrative, but I like the fact that it's somebody new now, somebody nicer. And it's like there's an Andy Reid press conference and there's a Bill Belichick press conference, and I like the one where the guy's not grunting. So there's that, and so I'm kind of a big Andy Reid fan.
How about with Patrick Mahomes? Same thing, Andy Reid, winning the third Super Bowl, and he's facing a quarterback in Brock Purdy, who was the last pick in the draft, his first Super Bowl. But for Pat, does it feel like he's already trying to chase Tom Brady? Am I, kind of wild for saying that already?
He's saying that.
Really? Okay, I missed that. Okay, Fernando, you got that?
Right? I mean, he is saying that. He admits that it's not in the near future because he's at 2 right now, maybe 3 if he wins, and Brady has 7. So there's a big gap between one and the other. But he has talked about wanting to bridge that gap and catch that guy. The job for Patrick Mahomes this week is obviously to win this one. But I believe that Patrick Mahomes has a greater goal beyond just winning this week, which is attaining the pedestal that Tom Brady is on, and not only attaining it, knocking Tom Brady off of it. That's the kind of competitor that people don't realize Patrick Mahomes is, and that is definitely what he's after.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, Armando. When you look at the other side, though, there's been some hate thrown towards Brock Purdy, and he's a game manager. Well, no, he's not. He's a below-average quarterback. And then you have the 49ers player saying, no, he's elite. He's up there, like he can sling it. And then obviously he came from behind against the Lions and against the Green Bay Packers. Just what are your thoughts on Brock Purdy and kind of the San Francisco 49ers overall?
Yeah, the whole game manager thing came up because Cam Newton decided, that he was going to say it on his podcast, and I don't think that he meant it to disparage Brock Purdy. I know that fans think you're a game manager as a quarterback, you're less than. Dude, in an NFL where there's a lot of game mismanagers, being a game manager ain't bad. That's number one. And number two, if my game manager is erasing 24-7 leads in a championship game, I want that guy to be my game manager, okay? Because obviously he is able to play from behind. I saw him play off script. I was at the AFC Championship game, and I'm watching Brock Purdy rush for, I think it was like 12 yards less than Lamar Jackson did in the game that I covered.
You're correct.
And Lamar Jackson is like this dual threat machine, and Brock Purdy is running up and down the field for the 49ers as much as Lamar Jackson was. So the whole game manager, thing, whatever, man. That's just somebody's opinion.
Fernando, should I give you the alley-oop here? Speaking of game managers, there's one in Miami. Do you want to ask? I don't know if you want. I don't know.
So a lot has been made about Tua going into this offseason. Justin Herbert has been paid. Jalen Hurts has been paid. Joe Burrow has been paid. Now, the question mark is, was this a one-off for Tua, and can he repeat what he did this year? I mean, even this year, in the back end, there were some shaky games and everything, but what do you think about, because you covered the Dolphins for years, do you think the objective this offseason is for the Dolphins to give him that big of a contract, or do you think they wait and they try and see if maybe he can do it again?
Right, so the wait and see if you can do it again, that was the narrative that they fed his representation last year.
Yep.
Because not this last year, but the 2022 season, he got hurt with the concussions, and so the Dolphins told his representation, hey, you know what, there's durability questions, and they're fair durability questions. Let's let him play through and prove that he can stay healthy, and then we'll revisit the contract at the end of 2023. Well, he played through, he didn't get hurt, but then there's this other thing that has popped up, which was he wasn't able to beat a good team or team with a winning record other than the Dallas Cowboys. He kind of wilted at the end, as did the team, and especially in the playoffs. And so it's going to be hard for the Miami Dolphins to go back to Tua's reps and go, hey, you remember what we said last year about let's wait another year? Let's do that again. I'm not sure that Tua's guys are going to go, okay, you're right. We don't need to get paid. Tua is not the kind of guy that's going to sit out.
Yeah.
He's not the kind of guy that's going to make a lot of waves. But I believe he wants to be paid. His agents want him paid. And the Dolphins are going to have a hard time convincing them otherwise.
Going off that, Armando, how much of the blame should go to Mike McDaniel, the head coach? Like, he's the one, doing the game plans, calling the plays. And for them, it seems, they can't make adjustments. When it's a physical game, a cold game, bigger players, they can't make the adjustment. They're just stuck in this, all gas, no brakes, speedy players, little smaller players. They got hurt at the end of the year. Is that more of a Mike McDaniel thing, being stubborn for not changing the scheme and maybe adjusting it a little more?
Well, so the problem with that scheme is that you absolutely are going to cause people headaches if you can get to the first read, plant your back foot, and throw. And then you're going to run off of that, and you're going to run misdirections, and you're going to run all sorts of things. The problem is when the other team makes you become physical. And they take away the first read.
It happens, yeah.
And so, oh no, they've taken away my first read, and they're not buying my misdirection. Now what do I do? And that's Mike McDaniel's job to figure out now what do I do. I don't know. They had an offensive line that was good at what they were supposed to do, but I don't think it's elite by any measure. And I don't think that they are super physical by any measure. And that became a problem because they can't run the ball down your throat when playoff football comes around and people are, turning for the playoffs, and it's, 12 degrees in Buffalo and snowing and it's windy in New York, and in Baltimore, the Ravens are pissed off at life and they're coming at you. And obviously, and Kansas City, Steve Spagnuolo is going, yeah, we're going to take away that first read, and we're not buying your misdirection. So well-coached teams, they have answers. Now it's up to Mike McDaniel to come up with the secondary thing, page 2.
Fernando, let me get one more.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, you.
Just want to get your thoughts on the coaching cycle and 8 openings. They're all filled now. Is there something that stood out to you the most about that?
I love the Jim Harbaugh hiring. I think that is a new day for the Los Angeles Chargers in that, the coach is coming in and not learning on the job. I compare coaching and the general manager work as like the movie John Wick. Are you familiar with John Wick? Okay, so John Wick walks into the hotel, and there's this guy with the scar over here, and the woman with the mini skirt over there, and the butler over there, and the water boy over here, and they've all got knives, and they've all got AK-47s and AR-15s and all that, and they're all shooting at him all at once, and he's got to kill all of them all at once. A head coach walks into his office at 5 or 6 in the morning every day, and he's got a player that was drunk overnight over here, and he's got another player that failed a drug test over there, and another player that's got a contract problem over here, and a staffer or a head coach in the Dolphins case that's doing cocaine in his office over there. And so, true story, that happened. And for young coaches, it could be overwhelming. They're not prepared for it. Jim Harbaugh is going to walk in that office and go, I've done all this before. I've killed all these problems that are coming at me before. I'm ready to do that and go to work, making the Los Angeles Chargers better. And I think that's just a good thing that's going to happen for the Chargers. They're in a division with, some pretty good coaches. It's no place to be learning on the job. No place to be learning on the job when Andy Reid is in the division and Sean Payton is in the division.
By the way, Armando was on that from the beginning. I remember I sent you that. I'm like, hey, Armando knows something, because you had reported that they had already met during the Rose Bowl week there. So maybe at the happiest place on earth at Disneyland is where they met, but Mickey Mouse helped with the negotiations. Armando, what's one storyline maybe, or maybe give us a couple that you're kind of looking towards this offseason? What are some of the interesting things this offseason that you're kind of looking at?
I'm glad you didn't ask me Super Bowl, because then I would have had to talk about Taylor. What's her name?
No.
So thank you for that.
Yeah, no, you're good.
I appreciate it.
I saw his face, and I'm like, I said, okay.
I'm thinking, no, Taylor Swift talk. No.
You're the one that brought it up. I didn't even say that name.
Trust me, we've all heard it plenty this week. So the New York Jets have issues. They got problems, right? Problem number one is they've got a 40-year-old quarterback who just missed an entire season, and he thinks he's really good still. So we'll see, and their offensive line is terrible. They've got problems in that they've got a bunch of leaks, which is good for the journalists, bad for the team.
30 sources.
Unbelievable. I mean, the guy had a meeting about let's not leak, and the meeting got leaked by multiple people. So that's an issue for the New York Jets, that they have internal issues, not to mention football issues, right? Is Andy Reid going to come back? I would expect so, but we'll see. The Dallas Cowboys, the season that doesn't matter because it doesn't. It's only the postseason that matters, and the shadow of Bill Belichick over them. The Eagles, the same thing. The shadow of Bill Belichick over the Eagles if they don't get their house in order. Nick Sirianni doesn't get like another offseason where he can fire everybody, because the next one who would be in line to be fired if it doesn't work in Philadelphia next year is Nick Sirianni. So there is that. We're going to see what Anthony Richardson is about. He missed his rookie season, a lot of high hopes. Now he's got something that he needs to attain, because Gardner Minshew, bless his heart, solid guy, took them, a certain way. The narrative is going to be, what? Bro, you're a top 5 pick. You need to take us higher than Gardner Minshew did. And we don't want to hear that you're inexperienced. You had your rookie season. You spent it on the couch getting better. So too bad. Stuff like that. It's going to be interesting everywhere in the NFL. The Bengals, Joe Burrow, can he come back and actually stay healthy now? Because he's got issues in that he's great, but durability. He's missed 2 seasons now with significant injuries, and I know he played most of the season, but bro, you got to stay healthy to be good. Yeah. And so, are you good enough to stay healthy? That's the question.
Gilbert, can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just real quick, the relationship between a coach and a quarterback, I feel like it's like a marriage. You have to have something perfect, and I know that Bill and Tom had their issues. There was some stuff, but obviously they made it work. When you talk about the relationship between Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert, it kind of feels like with Justin, it's been, well, wait till he gets an actual coach who can actually do things like to help him out, and maybe things will turn around. Now that he has Jim Harbaugh, what do you think about that relationship between, because Jim said it, he's like, when I saw him, I'm like, oh my God, like he looked up at him and he was all excited and he's like, I was starstruck, but just what do you think about that relationship? Because I'm sure Herbert was, 1, starstruck, but 2, he's like, oh my God, I finally have somebody who can help me out.
Yeah, I assume that it's going to be good. I mean, Jim Harbaugh is a different cat now.
Yeah.
He has his quirks, let's put it that way, okay? And it has been off-putting to some players in the past, professionally. I'm not talking about the guys at Michigan, because the guys at Michigan, they're there 2.5 years, 3 years, and they're gone. But if you have to deal with the man for 5, 6, 7 years, it could be tense at times. But he's played the position in the NFL. He knows the challenges. And I get the feeling that Justin Herbert is not that guy where it has to be his way or no way. He's not the egotistical guy. If anything, he's more withdrawn and willing to accept good advice, good coaching, as long as it helps him. And that's what matters to him the most. Winning, and are you helping me to do what? Win. That's all that he cares about. And I think Jim Harbaugh and him share that same goal and that same desire. We're going to do things that matter to you so that we can win. And it's not an ego-driven thing with Herbert. And I think Harbaugh gets that.
Armando, have you found any good Cuban food in Las Vegas?
No.
Okay.
I have not found... Bro, so I moved out of South Florida. And I moved to a place called Longwood in Florida, which is just north of Orlando. And there's like 50 Cuban restaurants in that general vicinity. They're all terrible.
Oh, wow.
It's like you can't freaking get good Cuban food outside of Florida and South Florida and maybe Tampa. And I'm like in the desert experience right now. It's gotten to the point where my wife, who is from East Tennessee, she makes better Cuban food than the people in Central Florida. Yeah, I have to go back every 3 months or so to South Florida just to get my fix so that I can go.
All weekend.
But, bro, the Mexican food at this Luxor restaurant, that was pretty good.
Really?
Last night, I had, it's called Diablo.
Okay.
That was all right. That was.
I'm a little tough critic when it comes to Mexican.
Yeah, so am I.
Outside of LA or SoCal, a little skeptical, but I'll trust you.
Yeah. Oh, so Texas, no? No count?
No, they
No,
just
no.
throw cheese on everything. Like, it's...
And Arizona, no. New Mexico, no. Mexico City, no.
Oh, no, yeah, no, Mexico City, yeah,
Yeah,
Mexico
okay,
City, yeah.
yeah.
But, you know, we talked to Raheem Mostert right now, and he's like, man, I love Miami. He's like, the Cuban food, that's exactly what he was talking about, the Cuban food. He's like, it's some of the best you'll ever, like, that food is just incredible. He's like, he also wants to go to Domino Park to go see all that, and he's I want to experience more of the Cuban culture. So it's impactful being in South Beach because of the Cuban, because of how many people are Cuban there. But it seems like it's a great, it's something that the players are interested in.
Yeah, as long as they're not interested in it on Saturday night.
Oh, well, yeah. Exactly.
When there's a game at 1 p.m. in 95-degree weather and 92-degree
You'll
humidity.
be sweating alcohol.
Yeah, exactly. So there's that. No, it's a great place. It's a very metropolitan place. There's a you guys Netflix guys at all?
Yeah.
There's the series about Griselda.
Yeah, just saw that.
I
Griselda
haven't watched it
Blanco,
yet.
where she brings in the little Cuban Marielito army to run drugs for her. That was funny because I lived in Miami back then, and the Mutiny was in fact a place that before my time, but still a place where stuff happened, and so I got a kick out of that series. I recommend it for anyone that loves, grisly murders and shoot 'em ups.
I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to check it out now. But Armando, thank you so much for jumping on with the Compas. We truly appreciate it. Make sure you guys follow all of his work. He is top notch. He's one of us, Latino, and we appreciate all your support and everything. So Armando, thank you so much.
Gracias.